Hey everyone, it's Chris with HotShotsCatering.com, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today for another great episode of Hot Shots TV. Now, if you don't know who I am and never seen this channel before and don't know why I'm dressed this way, then you're going to want to like, share, and subscribe to this channel because we talk everything about coffee and the gourmet coffee experience. And today's episode is going to be something very special because we are going to talk about one of the most acclaimed, best ways of making coffee today, and it is called the Aeropress. Now, if you're not familiar with the Aeropress, we're going to go into it here a little bit. I'm going to do a little brewing and stuff like that, but really this is going to be a two-part series to where today we're going to talk about just the Aeropress. I'm going to show you what it does and how it brews a cup of coffee so you can at least get an idea of what application it has for brewing coffee. And then the next time we meet, we're going to actually talk about and compare this method to a French press, probably another just standard brewing way of making coffee. And we're going to put them all together and we're going to see which one really is the best and if this really holds up to what everyone's saying. A lot of people like Alton Brown, if you're familiar with him, and several other people out there on forums and posts say this truly is the best way to make coffee. And personally, I want to see if that's true and if it's worth the hype that it has. So without further ado, let's get into it. Don't go anywhere, and we will be right back. And welcome back. So the Aeropress, it's considered one of the best ways to brew a cup of coffee. And we're going to go right through it. We're going to talk about it and what comes actually in the kit that I purchased, as well as the other version that they have. I think they have at least one other version. But before we go into that, I wanted to just quickly talk about the inventor. The inventor's name is Alan Adler. He's actually lectures at Stanford University in California, and he invented this thing. He's a mechanical engineer, but he's also has several other inventions, primarily aerodynamic kids' toys and things of that nature. And he owns the company Aeropress Inc. So that's the inventor. And it's a very smart idea. I will say it's not something that we've never seen before. It's very, very similar to, in my opinion, a French press. But if you know a French press, that's also a very good method of brewing. And we'll get into, like I said, the taste and the profile and comparing it to other methods of brewing in the next video of this. So make sure you look out for that down below in the description box. But let's first then talk about what comes in the kit that I purchased. So this is basically the basic kit, as far as I know, that you can purchase. Goes to 1 to 3 cups, and really it's pretty basic. Everything came into this little box here. They talk about their patent technology. Why is it better? It says a smoother, richer flavor without bitterness. 1/9 the acidity of a French press. So we were just talking about that. Makes American coffee espresso style or cold brew in about a minute. No grit. Cleanup takes seconds. Durable, compact, and light. Ideal for kitchen, travel, and camping. So yeah, you can do 4 types of coffee: American coffee, espresso, latte, cold brew. I haven't really done anything and seen this thing do cold brew, but it's pretty interesting to know too. But I will tell you, I have made coffee with this before, and I want to kind of share it with you as far as the process in which it makes coffee. And there's one of the things when I was reading the instructions, and I'll get into it as we start brewing here, to me that was kind of confusing in how it makes coffee or what I would expect it to do. So this is what you get in that box. Let's start with, and I just have this, I don't even know if this is how this is supposed to be put together, but looks nice to me. That's how I put it together. So you get 1 stir to actually stir your coffee, which I'll talk about here in a second. you actually get a scoop. Now, unfortunately, they don't tell you the size of this scoop in the instructions, at least not that I could find. If you guys know what it is, let me know. I'd love to find that out about it, which I was disappointed they didn't have that, but they have a little funnel here so you can put your coffee and your water in without making a big mess. And then this is actually the unit here. It looks pretty much just like a piston is really what it is. So you got that whole thing. And then this down below, I believe, just kind of holds the unit as I was showcasing it there, as well as a place to put your filters. Now, I don't know how many filters are in here, probably 1,000 because there's so many of them in here, but they're like just little wafers of paper. Very thin, very simple. And so let's go through, let's make a cup, shall we? That's the whole purpose of this video. So let me make a cup of coffee for you guys, and we can kind of go from there. So the first thing you're gonna need, if you're gonna put everything to brew together, you're gonna need your cup, you're gonna need your water, which if you know what that is, we'll talk about that in a second. Then you're gonna need your coffee. Now today's coffee, I'm going to be using the Dunkin' Donuts Dark Roast, Dunkin' Dark. It's very good, I've already tried it, but I will tell you it's a pretty good dark roast. If you're looking for a dark roast, I don't know how long they've had this, but it's the first time I've seen it. So for our purposes, I decided I would use this today as well. So we got the Dunkin' Dark Roast, I'm gonna put it over here. And you're gonna need a vessel or some way to heat water and get it ready to go. So if you're not familiar with this, I will put a description down below in our link. We have this on our website, shophotshots.com, but this is the Fellow Stag EKG unit, and we've done a video on it. We did a little review on it, but it's great. It actually has a little electronic cable here, or extension cable, what have you, to plug in. And you can plug this in right on your kitchen counter. You can pretty much do whatever you want, and it just comes off like that. The base does readings, it holds temperature. It's pretty cool little device, and it uses a PID as far as how it measures the temperature and all of that. So we have this guy here. I'm going to put it right here, but just so you guys know, we have a video on this if you're interested in learning about it, and we also sell it on our website as well. So first, you're going to need your cup. And by the way, obviously it's not plugged in. I've already heated the water for this purposes, for demonstration purposes only. Now, in this device, in the instructions, they tell you when you make your coffee, you want to have the water about 190. Some of you guys out there might want to go a little bit hotter than that, 210, something in that range. So anyways, keep that in mind. That's what it says for when you want to brew with the Aeropress, what you need to do. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this bottom puck, you're just going to take it off the unit. This is basically your filter basket. You're going to lay that there. You take one of your filters, make sure it's one because it's going to be a little thick. They're really thin. So anyways, you're just going to put that down in your filter basket. Take this thing apart, and you'll have just this base is really all you'll have. And you'll put your filter basket with the filter right up in here, line it to the holes, and then just spin it. Just do a little, you know, I guess that's a counterclockwise, clockwise turn I did. Anyways, you're just gonna spin it and it will be just like that. Now, you're gonna need a cup. I suggest get a nice sturdy cup, because when you're pushing down on this thing, it does get a little vibration, a little rocky. So you want something steady, sturdy. I just use our ceramic cup here. Ceramic cup is great. I've also used this on paper cups. Haven't had an issue there, but if you get some real cheap paper cups, I'm gonna tell you, as soon as that water hits it, and you could crush the cup. So get something sturdy. I would say probably something 12 ounce or bigger. You could do an 8 ounce, but I don't know if that's gonna last. What else? I don't really use the funnel at all. I find it really easy to actually just scoop the coffee, and you can put this whole thing and just turn it and it will all come out. So plus when we use the water has a nice stem, so you know it's not really messy. So I never really need to use this funnel. So I put that over there. Next thing we're gonna need our great tasting coffee here. Just so you guys know, this isn't a review for Dunkin', but If you've watched my channel long enough, you probably know what my review is for Dunkin'. It's not bad, just say that. Okay, so I get a nice heaping scoop here, and you basically, like I said, you're just gonna put that in there, turn it, make sure everything's out, and that goes away. Now you're done. Now, I am getting into where I'm very technical about this. This is the only way I've brewed this thing, and really, it's really the only way I've seen in the instructions. Now, the instructions like a paper this big. I didn't read the whole thing, but if you're out there and you're watching this video and you're like, Chris, you can just fill the water all the way up to the top and have a cup of coffee that way too. That's fine, okay? But I'm doing it based on the instructions and how I read it. I'm gonna tell you, to me, I feel like you could just fill the water all the way up. I'm only doing one brew. Why can't I do that? And stir it and let it sit a little bit longer and really get the whole coffee nice and good. But how they're going to tell you to make it, at least how I've perceived it, is we just take a scoop. So however many scoops of coffee you want, this equals a scoop of coffee or a cup of coffee. And so this is, I put 1 scoop in, that's 1 cup of coffee. Then we're going to take our water, and all we do with our water is we're going to fill it up to that first level, that number 1. And so we're just going to do that now. And you'll see there as it comes up. So we're right there at that number 1. Now, they say take it and take this, and the cool thing I like about this, when I know Alan did a good job, is when you put this down in here, there's no way it touches that bottom of the filter or lifts up that filter. It can only go so far, but it goes just far enough. So you take this, and this is an important step. You want to stir those grounds, get them very nice and saturated. I have brewed this without stirring the grounds, and I will tell you there is a big difference in the result of the coffee when you don't stir the grounds. Okay, so put that down there, and that's pretty much it. Now we are ready for the fun part. We're just gonna take the plunger, put it on top. I would suggest holding this with 2 hands, and then you just gently push down here and give it a little bit of pressure, and you'll hear it start brewing to the bottom of your cup. And let it just go all the way to the bottom. There you go. And that's done. And the nice thing about this is it's not real messy. I've lifted this up and carried it over the trash can, and look how cool this is. All you have to do is you untwist the bottom, and look, it's all compact. So when you're ready to throw this away, you just untwist the bottom, go to the trash can, make sure you're over the trash can, because believe it or not, I've pushed this out and I thought I was over it and it went everywhere. But then you're just gonna push the rest of this way and it will go pop, and that whole puck, it's like a little coffee puck, will just literally go in your trash can and you're done. All you gotta do then is just rinse out this thing and you're done with that part of it. So very easy to clean, which I really like. Even with the other one that the other device that you saw that we took out into Utah and we utilized, this is actually easier than that model of even cleaning and doing stuff with that. And I'll put a link to that video too, if you're interested in things like this that are easy to make cup of espresso or cup of coffee. Now, this really only made like a shot of espresso technically. Now there's no crema or anything on it, but it's just basically a concentrated shot of coffee. So now what they say to do, which this is where I'm thinking, why not just put the water in here and put as strong as you want? I haven't experimented with that yet, but that's personally what I would do. But instead they say, take this and now you just fill it up the rest of the way with whatever water, how much water you want in your coffee. So you can do that. If you want to do a latte, obviously you're just adding hot liquid milk. If you want to do a cappuccino, add hot foam, and you'll be good for that too. Cold brew, I'm assuming it's the same method. Now, I haven't researched this yet, but I'm assuming it's the same method. You're just doing cold water. maybe let it sit in there for a little bit longer is what I'd probably do. But yeah. So there's our cup of coffee from Aeropress. And I will say, it does make the coffee very smooth. And that's why I said in the second part of this video that I want to talk about is really comparing this thing to, you know, a regular standard cup of coffee brewing and maybe like a French press, maybe even a pour over. Maybe we just do all 4 of those. But I really want to compare this thing and really see, is this worth all the hype that you're hearing about with the Aeropress? Is this really the best method to brew coffee? And let's see in a real world application, you know, not just in a blog, not just on a video. Let's actually taste it and compare the other ways, which I really haven't seen a lot of people do. But I will tell you, it is very smooth and does make for a great cup of coffee. But, you know, is it the best? I don't know. We will find out in the next video. So other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight about the Aeropress device and how to brew it and what comes in the box. I will tell you the price is around $30, so not even a bad price for something that you can take with you, and you can literally go anywhere with this. You can travel with it. The only thing you need is the hot water. Now that's the trick that I'd like to see the next invention. If I was going to say something is absolutely perfect, is if you can have a device that does the hot water and do something like this together, so you don't have to carry around hot water, or you don't have to do something, you know, or you don't need so much, you know, electricity or power to do it. That would be the ultimate device, I think, which would be kind of cool, is totally off the grid, brew a cup of coffee, and go from there. So with that, guys, I will see you next time for the rest of the review. And yeah, drink some coffee.